How these big corporations are treating them. And now they're doing shit to prove a point. In the last week or so, there's been almost 10 incidents where either a warehouse was burned down or a building was burned down. But that ain't it. Now people are putting stores like Walmart and Sam's Club on blast. They're doing things to single-handedly ruin these stores. So now what people are doing is taking spray foam, spraying it in toilets in big corporations. And if you know anything about spray foam, you know what happens when you spray foam in a toilet. Once that foam gets in a pipe, you already know what it's doing. It's hardening up. And I'm talking about hard as a brick. And how does that affect these big corporations? Well, once you spray foam in a toilet, all those pipes that have anything to do with that toilet hardens up. So what you're going to have to do? Call plumbers. What are they going to have to do? Break down walls, break down concrete. This is a situation that can stop your store from being open. Places like Target, places like Walmart, they're about to be messed up because guess what? People are rebelling because they say they're not getting paid enough. They're saying they're not getting treated right. And the craziest part about everything, they can't even find out who's doing it. It's not like they can monitor everybody that's in the bathroom because you're not supposed to have surveillance in the bathroom. Mind you, the same reason that people were so-called setting these fires, they're saying they're not being treated right either. So what's going on? Whatever it is, these big corporations better fix it fast. You know how we feel about Walmart, right? Okay, I'm out. People...
10 warehouse fires, an OpenAI CEO's home getting a Molotov cocktail and shots fired to it, all within a 3-day span of this original video going super duper viral, where we were asked, you only had to pay us enough to live. So since our original Paper Mario bust out onto the scene Friday morning, there's been a total of 10 warehouse or storefront fires, and again, this Molotov cocktail incident with Sam Altman. So let's get into all 10 corroborated, as one just broke just now that is brand new. We're gonna go through Alpha, which is number 1, that is the toilet paper warehouse facility. And then we've got 2, Queens, New York, which is lumber, broke out on the scene Saturday morning, 0 casualties as well. Ohio Amazon, caused by the solar panels, 0 casualties there. Ohio Lumber in Wayne County, so 2 on the scoreboard for Ohio over there, 0 casualties from what we've heard. And then Bakersfield, California, an abandoned warehouse, 0 casualties. San Bernardo, commercial structure, 0 casualties. That's also California. True Religion jeans store, which happened in the same city as the Alpha fire in California. So that's where we're hitting up right there in California for a total of, because now, 5 Lamp, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram happening right here. Just found out about this one literally this afternoon. And then New Jersey's racking on in here with chemical warehouse with 0 casualties from what we can tell online right now then too. And then a commercial structure near the airport in Gwent County, Georgia, 0 casualties from what we've heard. And that one was apparently spontaneous combustion as the attribution. So only 2 things attributed to all 10 of these warehouse fires, aside from the patron saint of Paper Mario over here, who has also compared himself to Luigi in the past as well now too. There's news coming out that he has sat there and said that he feels as though he is Luigi. So he's pled not guilty, and we are officially entering Class War 2026 unofficially.
Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash. Double honors and salutations to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much respect to you brothers out on the highways and byways, pushing this truth with fear and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Khalak Har coming back at you with another video. And as you can see from the 2 videos I put together, right, there should be sedition among men. This is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Right, a lot of people in mourning. As you see, they referenced the other guy that killed the the healthcare CEO guy. Forget the name of the healthcare United Healthcare, right? Which was a big company, right? That's a big company, United Healthcare. They handle a lot of. I worked in a business office of a nursing home, and United Healthcare was a very go-to. It was either that or Humana, Kaiser Permanente, just to name a few. But United Healthcare was a big one, and it come to find out the CEO was, they was pocketing money, pocketing people's premiums, and just misusing funds, right? And he deleted the man, went on the run, and got away, for quite some time. But he got found out because he showed his face on camera. But nevertheless, people, the reason why he did it is because these companies, these CEOs are, stealing, right? And so what comes from that is the people are rebellion, sedition. Let's look at the word sedition real quick. Sedition. And you're going to see more and more of this, right? Sedition, mid-14th circle, sedition. It says, or sedition. It says rebellion, uprising, revolt. Factitious, commotion in the state, right? Overthrow civil authority. And that's what you're going to get, right? You're going to get a lot of rebellion. You're going to get a lot of people coming after the government, setting up, militias and whatnot. This is 2 Edges 15 in verse, start at 14. 2 Edges 15 and 14 says, Woe means destruction to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. One people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands, right? And this is, talking about civil war, civil unrest, people going against each other, right? And not only that, people going against these CEOs. As you saw in that second video, that a CEO house was shot at. They tried to break into it and whatnot. So people are going to stand up and fight. Verse 16 says, there shall be sedition among men and evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power, right? So people are going to, right, the hearts of many are waxing cold because iniquity shall abound, right? And we see iniquity abounding because not only that, you had, I had pulled this up. You had Ticketmaster, Live Nation, stealing from the people and bragging about it, right? Let's watch this clip real quick and turn up the speed.
About the music industry because there could be big changes on the way. I've got to mention this story about the music industry because there could be big changes on the way. This after a court in New York found the concert giant Live Nation and its Ticketmaster subsidiary illegally monopolizing the selling of tickets for concerts. Now, the civil case was originally brought by the federal government under President Biden, but was taken on by 33 individual US states when the Trump administration settled with the company. Now, Tawfiq has been following the case for us.
Anybody who's tried to buy a concert ticket recently will have noticed just how much prices have gone up in recent years. And the Department of Justice, along with states, originally brought this lawsuit against Live Nation and Ticketmaster, which merged back in 2010, saying that they were stifling competition and in the process taking millions away from consumers. And what's so interesting is that when this trial got underway, the Department of Justice actually reached a settlement with Live Nation. And several of other kind of concert operators said that settlement didn't go far enough. It was a minuscule amount in their view, a $280 million settlement when the company makes north of $20 billion in revenue each year, and that they felt it wasn't really addressing some of the structural problems that made Live Nation a monopoly. And so what we had was a coalition of 27 states deciding that they would continue with that lawsuit, and so this is a real victory for them.
So to get reaction to all of this, I talked to Stephen Parker, who's Executive Director of the National Independent Venue Association. He's based in LA in the United States. And I asked him if he's now calling on the company to be broken up.
We are. That is the core piece that will make sure that live entertainment can actually have competition again. And ultimately, a breakup is one of the most effective things that the government can do to make sure that Live Nation's...
So this company, Ticketmaster and Live Nation, was working together to scam people out of money. And they had, receipts, text receipts saying how they scamming people and, and getting rich off people, and just been all wicked, man. Just been all wicked. Let's go to the book of Hosea real quick. Hosea 4:1. Hosea 4:1, it says, as a matter of fact, let me get it in the blue letter. Hosea 4:1. It says, hear the word of the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, you children of Israel. For the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, no mercy, no knowledge of God in the land, right? And we know this is applied to the northern kingdom at the time of Hosea, but we can apply it to this current kingdom as well, right? There is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Heavenly Father in this land. Even though they'll tell you that this is a God-fearing nation, they put it on the back of the dollar, the money, but none of these attributes are happening, right? No truth, no mercy, no knowledge, right? It says, by swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood. Bear with me for a second. All right. By swearing and lying and killing, stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood. It says, therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish with the beasts of the field, with the fowls of heaven. Yeah, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Right? And this is what you're going to see in the land of Babylon. Slowly, the beginning of sorrows, as gas prices keep hiking up. They keep telling you it's peace, and they're going to try to go for peace with the war and whatnot, which they can't bring in any peace. Well, they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction cometh. Right? The breakdown of authority, violence between citizens is just going to be all out anarchy in the land of Babylon the Great, right? That we're seeing today. So let's go to 2 Timothy 3 and verse 1. It says, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. Here, let me get this in the NLT. It says, you should know this, Timothy, that in the last days there will be very difficult times, right? And we're seeing that today. Very difficult times. People are upset. People burning down, facilities and whatnot, warehouses, because they're not getting paid enough. We don't have a livable wage, man, right? Especially out here in Washington State, right? The rent is crazy for just a one bedroom is, $1,800 pretty much for a decent one. Now you can get but you want to, people want to live a little bit comfortably, not in the slums or whatnot. But, it's I remember in 2018, I was doing insurance. And at that time, I think to live comfortably, right, you needed 80 grand, 85 grand to live comfortably. That's in 2018. As of now, you need over 100, right, to live comfortably. That's probably even more than that. 2 Timothy 3 and verse 2 in the NLT, it says, for people will only love themselves and their money, right? And that's what you're seeing. People, these CEOs and whatnot, they're getting judged, right? Because they are hoarding all of this wealth to themselves. They're not dispersing. They're not, giving it, making it equal, right? Because think about it. It's some places, right? The minimum wages is like $10, right? It's not livable, right? You can't live off $10 a month or $10 an hour. Not in this economy with rising prices, right? Like these people are saying, you don't pay us enough to live, right? We just come into your facilities and your job sites and working for you day in and day out, and we barely getting by while you soak in all the wealth and all that. People are upset over that. Read it again. It says, for people will only love themselves and their money. They will be boastful and proud, scoffing at the Heavenly Father, right? And we see that now. It says, disobedient to their parents and ungrateful. They will consider nothing sacred. Say they will be unloving, unforgiving. They will slander others and have no self-control. They will be cruel and hate what is good. They will betray their friends, be reckless, be puffed up with pride, and love pleasure rather than the Heavenly Father. They will act religious, but they will reject the power that come that could make them godly. Stay away from people like that. It says they are the kind who work their way into people's homes and win the confidence of vulnerable women, and who are burdened with the guilt of sin and controlled by various desires. Right? So this is what's happening in these last days. Society loses righteousness, man. Right? People become selfish, violent, lawless, doing all sorts of crazy ass shit. Right? And it's because it is the wicked are in rule. Right? Matthew 24 and verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Right? And the NLT, it says sin will be rampant everywhere, and the love of many shall wax cold. We always go into that word wax. Where is it? Wax. Suko.
Strong's G 5594. Psucho. Psucho.
Suko sound like psycho, and that's what you're getting. A lot of psychotic, right? Burning down facilities and whatnot, to burning toilet paper, and these people are, not not understanding, right? That this is part the wicked are living, right? And this is what they was gonna, their plan all along, right? They was gonna, come up with these schemes and ways to, get over the people, right? Hoard them to themselves. Here it is. You got billionaires that got $200 billion, $300 billion, right? And can't, and that's still world hunger. You got the greatest country on earth, but the homeless is growing every day, right? This is unbalanced, right? And the Lord is the unbalanced weight is an abomination to the Lord, right? Unbalanced weight is an abomination to the Lord. So things like this is going to keep up, right? Oppression is going to keep up, right? Into, what is it? Ecclesiastes 7:7. Right? It says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. Right? Oppression. Right? Let's look at that word oppression real quick. Oppression. Aswak. Aswak. Oppression, extortion, injury. Oppression, extortion, gained by extortion. Get a word, extortion. It says demanding money with meaningless. It says the practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force or threats, right? Your heart, sweat, blood, sweat, and tears. You're going to a job, right? Forcing you to do this, forcing you to do that. To press upon, to oppress, violate, defraud, do violence, get deceitfully, right? Wrong, extort, to oppress, wrong, extort, right? This is what these devils are doing, right? Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. And the NLT says extortion turns wise people into fools, and briberies corrupt the heart, right? This is this man's kingdom, right? People are going to stop obeying the king's commands, right? Ecclesiastes 8:1, it says, who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. It says, I counsel thee to keep the king's commandments, that in regard of the oath of the Heavenly Father. So at this point, right, because this is talking about Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, but we in this man's kingdom right now. So we ain't going to get upset because gas is going up. We ain't going to get upset because groceries are going up. The cost of living is going up, right? We got our trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, that the Lord is going to take care of us because we are returning back to him. We return back to him. We're repenting, right? We're doing the work that he's prescribed us to do, right? With the ounce of faith that he's given us. So we are putting our counsel in the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, right? But these, so we're not going to go protest the governor's office, right? You pay us more wages, but, go to our job and get picket fences and posters and boards and outside of our job, walking in a circle with 10 people to to go against the the standards and whatnot. This is part of Bible prophecy, right? The wicked elite, right? This is what they wanted to do, right? It says, "Be not hasty to go out of his sight; stand not in the evil thing, for he doeth whatsoever pleases him." Right. So the Heavenly Father set this thing up to be this way, right? And you just gotta hope that the Heavenly Father is dealing with you and that you're gonna make it out, right? That you're gonna make it out of here and be on the right side of history, pretty much, right? And this is Proverbs 30, and let me start at 19. It says, let me start at 18. It says, "There be three things which are too wonderful for me, yeah, four which I know not. The way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent upon a rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a maid. It says, such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wickedness." And this bitch Babylon, right? She eateth, wipe her mouth and say she has done no wickedness. But the Heavenly Father is upon these iniquities, right? No truth, no knowledge, no mercy in this land. It says, "For three things the earth is disquieted, and for four it cannot bear." It says, "For a servant when he reigneth, and a fool when he is filled with meat. For an odious woman when she is married, and as handsmaid is their hair to their mistress." Right, but going back to a serpent when he reigneth, and a fool when he is filled with meat. Right, this current economic and social oppression. Right, people are pushed, right, to the edge. Right, people are can't live. Right, they can't really sustain, right? They can't save any money. 60% of people are, living paycheck to paycheck, right? It used to be like 40, now it's 60, right? And it's going to continue to get out of hand, right? And a fool when he is filled with meat, this is Esau Edom, right? He is filled, right? He got revived from the Caucasus Mountains, right? That daily wound was healed, or that deadly wound was healed, and he's ruling, but he's lifted up. His pride is lifted up, right? And he think he's gonna continue to oppress the people and do all of these things, and nobody's gonna mediate and come, right? Nobody's gonna be able to take this devil down. But surely Yahweh Shah is the one that's going to be taking this devil down with the rest of the angels. This is Revelation 6:5. "And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." Right, because this is slave wager, right? This is what the wicked elite, right? Knowing that you're supposed to be paid every day that you work a shift, right? But they got this bi-weekly plan every 10 to 25th and every 2 weeks, and right, this is the ruling of this devil, right? This devil got plenty crimes, bloody crimes on his hand, right? Plenty crimes. And he's going to pay for all of that he's done. All right, this is the book of James, chapter 5, and verse 1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Right, these are miseries coming upon these rich people. Let's read in the LT. It says, "Look here, you rich people, weep and groan with the anguish because of all your terrible troubles ahead of you. Your wealth is rotting away, and your fine clothes are moth-eaten rags. Your gold and silver are corroded, the very wealth you were counting on will eat away your flesh like fire, right? These fires that's popping up. It says, this corroded treasure you have hoarded will testify against you on the day of judgment. For listen, hear the cries of the field workers from whom you have cheated of their pay, right? You have cheated of their pay. It says the cries of those who harvest your fields and reach the ears of the Lord of armies. It says you have spent your years on earth in luxury, satisfying your every desire. You have fattened yourself for the day of slaughter. Right? So that's what's coming to these rich people, man. That's what's coming. Right? They're not going to be able to get out of it. And, through the prophets, right? The turning of the world upside down, right? Bringing these prophecies into play, right? By speaking them, right? And the Lord is moving, right? Because, like we said, right? Sin is going to increase. Society is going to lose morality, right? The land should be barren of faith, right? The economic collapse, oppression increasing, people getting desperate, violent, erupts, authority is rejected, right? Sedition spreads. This is all that's coming. This is all that's out playing right now, and it's going to get worse and worse, right? So, with that said, I hope you was edified. I hope you got something out of this. Hope to see you on the next video. Lord, when I shalom.